Hey guys, it's Amber, and I am getting ready to work on part 6, which is day 2 of my Savannah album. Welcome back. I know it's been a while since I had a video. So I'm still deciding how I want to open this up, but what I did do, and I wanted to show you here, I have 2 copies of this one. I have some photos here of being at the bakery. Pulled the logo from the bakery here and added some journaling into a color that would match. And I decided it would be really fun to blow up the inside of the box. The first one that I did and printed out, I wasn't paying attention to where I would need to punch holes. I'm not even sure which side it's going to be on, but either way, the words were in the way. So I'm going to toss that one, but I just wanted to show you something to consider and think about. So I redid it and left myself room to punch holes on either side. And all I did was add journaling, or you know, the titles of things, and then I just took my brush tool and I hand drew arrows, and I decided it'd be fun to add a few little squiggles. Thinking about adding something like this on here. That is a really old alley piece. I was hoping I had like a big wood veneer that said yum, but this one's really tiny, so that's not going to work. So we'll see as I dig through there. So I've got a 4x6, 4x4, a 4x4 journaling spot, and then 2 3x4s of the girls I'm going to leave together like that. So that will be that part of the day. And then I have some photos here that I'm going to put into one of the page protectors as well. I'm going to figure out a way to add journaling or a stamped title potentially. So just kind of showing what it was like driving around, like what the trees were like, driving out to the marshes and the islands, and then I have one of the signs here. So after that, we decided to go to the Wormslow historical site. So that's my friend Annie and I. So I have 2 pieces of ephemera here for that. I've got my map here that I believe if I attach the here, should still be able to open up. So I can put that into the page protectors. And I also got a patch, which I thought would be fun to provide some texture. So it's of the gate here. So I've got that. I have this from the outdoor set. I believe it's from outdoor collection from Ali Edwards. So it says take me to the trees. And then I'm planning, I have a wooden piece here that says sightseeing potentially. And then I'm planning another one of these circles with a wooden piece and one of these half circles here as well, to try to figure that out. And then according to the other tags that I've done, I want to stamp out Wormslow because it's 8 letters, so it fits perfectly. And then I'm trying to decide if I'm going to do that in Stays On or maybe one of the Distress Oxides. Again, it's already green and blue, so I have to figure that out. I'm thinking it might be easier to do Stays On this time. And then I'm trying to also figure out which photo that's going to go on. So I have 2 large ones here of my friend and I in front of the gate, and then the actual drive. There's like a mile of these amazing trees. And then I've got 2 7 by 8 1/4 enlargements here showing the trails that we were walking on. Another one of these. There's some little lizards that were floating around, and then some 4x6s of us as well. So I'm trying to decide how exactly I want to tackle this. I was considering putting a transparency on the edge of the photos and letting that flip, so I'd have to come up with 2 more pieces. Maybe one of them could be a transparent circle. I'm still working on that. Or I would find a 6 by 8 page protector to include those. And then for these, I was thinking about maybe putting a piece of acetate to the right hand side and letting the envelope sit on that, because it kind of blocks the photo too much to put it on one of these, and I don't really love it on the enlargement. It's just kind of the wrong color scheme, even though the green would look really good. It's just not the right color. So I gotta figure out where I want to include that exactly. So I'm gonna get these cropped out and then we will get started. So I decided to go ahead and start with the stamping onto this vellum tag first because I wanted to give the ink a chance to dry. So I'm using this same Ali Edwards 6x8 stamp set that I've used for the other tag envelopes. I'll have it linked for you in the video details. And I'm just spelling out Wormslow. I got lucky because the only letter that needed to be duplicated was the O. So I was able to line it up pretty well and see where I wanted them all to go using my Tim Holtz stamper. So I'm using the Distress Oxide Rustic Wilderness color. I thought that that would be a nice green to go on here. And so I'm just stamping as lightly as possible, and I've shown these stamps before. Mine were very shallow, so I'm just using some Q-tips there with a little bit of stamp cleaner on them to help pull the ink out of the centers a little bit so that they stamp clean. So the beauty of having a stamper like this is that I can remove all the other letters, restamp that L to get it looking like how I want, and then I can move that O. So I'm just cleaning it off camera, and then I'm ready to position it in place, clean off the stamper a little bit there so I don't get ink anywhere accidentally, and then I'm going to ink it up, I believe a total of like 3 times to get it to look as consistent as the other ones do here. So while that's drying, I'm going to start working on adding photos to my page protectors here. And I'm using the 4x4 and 4x6 page protector, starting with the beginning part of the day. So just getting the photos in place and then working on the ones that are going to go in the back. Some of these might change a little bit, but I think for the most part, they're pretty much going to stay right where I'm placing them. Figuring out where I want the enlargements to go. And then pulling out the embellishments and the ephemera that I had pulled aside. So I originally thought maybe I would be able to use another one of these divided page protectors with the other 2 4x6 photos, and then I quickly realized I didn't have enough content. So that's going to change later to a 2-up 6x8 page protector. But for now, I'm still just trying to decide where exactly I'm going to put that patch or the ephemera. Where that wood veneer piece is going to go. It's going to end up going on that photo, but I played it with layering the tag over top of it just to see what would work best. So kind of jumping around a little bit because I wasn't quite ready to make a decision, so that's what I tend to do. Just cutting out a 2-inch circle punch there from cardstock for backing that breakfast piece. And while that was doing that, I printed out my journaling onto that Mako vellum sticker paper. I'll have that linked in the Amazon notes for you in the video. I printed in a green font, which I just thought would be fun since it's in a green tag, and black seemed a little too stark. So just getting that positioned and stuck in place, and I like using my non-stick scissors. I also have those linked for you to help cut the adhesive off. Keeps it from sticking to the scissors too much. So just getting that smoothed down with that Cricut tool and in place. And I believe this is still drying, so I'm going to just tuck that inside for now and set that aside one more time until I'm ready to make a decision. So starting back over from the beginning there, getting that breakfast little transparent die cut in place. So I'm going to use some of my scrapbook.com adhesive there. I like using this on transparent pieces because you don't see any of the adhesive. If I would use rolling dot or red line tape or something, you'd see the adhesive through the transparency. But by putting it on something that covers the entire piece, you can't see it at all because it's all the same. So I'm just using a little bit of white cardstock there to make the letters really pop on the background of the photo. So I'm going to adhere that to the cardstock and then use red line tape on the back to adhere that to the photo since it's outside of a page protector. Just want to make sure it can't pop off. I did consider doing pop dots, but I had forgotten and went ahead and stuck it down. So now I'm getting ready to add some red line tape to the back of this wood veneer. I'm going to put it on the photo for that. And now I have moved on to deciding to use a different transparency piece there for the page protector, and then I'm going to do that circle on one side and the patch on the other on the outside of the page protector. But before I get to that, I'm going to take one of these Citrus Twist Kit adhesive pop-ins. It already has the holes punched and the adhesive added, so I can add that right to my pamphlet and go right into the album. I'm now using some adhesive to add these two photos together back to back. I like to use Gina K Terrific Tape for that, 1/8 inch on the side where the holes are going to get punched. It fits in perfectly. And then I use various sizes around the outside. I just like to make sure that they're really secure. So I'm just adhering all those sides together, and I will trim slightly anything that doesn't seem to line up with my scissors, just using the edge of the photo as a guide. And now I'm just using my punch template to punch the holes. So I wanted to add a little bit of something to go with that wood veneer piece. So I'm using, or looking through my travel themed paper die cuts and banners here. And then I found one that was from the 2020 collection that was a piece of cardstock that I cut apart, and it says, "Always take the scenic road." And I thought that was perfect for this picture in particular. I did consider layering it on top of the "Take Me to the Trees" right in the center. I really wanted to, but it kind of blocked the letters too much. I even considered trimming it so that it was skinnier, but I still didn't think you'd be able to read it quite well enough. Even though I knew what it said, somebody else might not, so I just decided to layer it below. So I'm just using some more of that Gina K tape to adhere it down, again, since it's outside of the page protector. So now I'm getting ready to build my 3-inch circle here. I originally layered it on top of some white cardstock, and then I ended up removing that and doing vellum instead so that it was more opaque but not so starkly see-through. So it says, "Let's be adventurers," and then I have a wood veneer piece and a clear and white adventure word there. The wood piece is from Color Cast Designs. So I dug through my transparency stash, and I found this older one from Allie. To be honest, I'm not sure what kit it's from, but it's like a light olive green polka dot, and I thought it was perfect for this to give some interest. But I mean, it's not really super visible because it's a transparent pocket on top of a photo with a lot of green in it. But when you flip the page and are moving around the album, it just adds a little something extra. So I'm just adding some adhesive, and then I moved it a little bit because it wasn't quite centered. It's the great thing about the Gina K stuff is that it can be removed. And then I'm just using red line tape on the patch, but I'm going to adhere that on the outside of the page protector once that's slid into place because it's so bulky. It putting both inside there would have made the pocket like pucker in a strange way. So really happy with how that little embellishment section came out. And now I'm getting ready to add these two 6x8 pages together. So I'm just doing my same adhesive. I'm going to skip through most of that so you don't have to watch it. And then I'm going to use my punch template one more time there to get the holes punched. I really suggest making one. It's so much easier than guessing or dealing with a clear page protector. So I added a little bit more of cardstock to the bottom of that tag and adding some more of that Heidi Swap washi tape just to keep consistent with the previous two that I had done. And then I had covered it with clear sticky tape, so I need to repunch the hole with my power punch. And I'm adding some of this green velvety ribbon that I've been using in different colors throughout the album. It's from a large Amazon pack. I have that saved for you guys in the notes as well. It's awesome because you get like 30 colors for like $6, I think. And then I remembered last minute that I wanted to add another one of these vellum tags from the 2022 collection, just for some consistency. I'm going to staple that ribbon in place, but make sure to not staple the vellum piece. I'm going to tuck that inside the tag. And then I did decide to go ahead and adhere it to that 6x8 photo of the trail. So I figured it wasn't that strong of a photo that I could definitely cover up part of it, but you could still get the gist of it being a trail and we were walking around. So I'm using red line adhesive to attach it since it's outside of a page protector. And I'm just getting ready to peel up those backing pieces and center it onto the photo. So last but not least, I finally decided that I was officially going to be using that one on the left hand side, so I'm getting that punched, and then I remembered I needed to finish one of these pockets here. So I'm using another piece of this cocoa vanilla paper that I used on day one, and it's about driving around. So I'm digging through my stash, and I found two little pieces that have cars. One's like a die cut, one's a woven fabric piece from Allie Edwards. I think it's from a Day in the Life kit. And then I went through my 2021 travel circle transparencies, and I found one that says road tripping. And so I thought that that would be fun. It had a camper on it, but I decided to cover that with the fabric piece from the car and then add that to the pattern paper. So finally, I decided to create a day 2 page divider. So I'm using some pattern paper here from Pink Paisley and some foam thickers to spell out day 2. And I'm just adhering that to the photo and then trimming around the edges. I'll repunch the holes and then use some Dear Lizzie purple foam thickers to spell that out in just a minute. I also decided to add a couple chipboard stars from my collection just to add a little bit more interest to that page there with the pastries. I just thought it was a really fun page with all the arrows. And then here you can see I'm adding the words, keeping this incredibly simple and just letting the pattern paper be fun. So I'll share a live look of how everything looks together in just a minute. Okay friends, I am all done with the first part of day 2 here. Really happy with how it's coming along. I'm going to have to go back and figure out a way to create a title page for day 1. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that yet, but I'm going to need to figure out something that goes right in here somewhere. But I needed some sort of divider, and I needed a way to distinguish. I tried looking for another photo, didn't really have one. So I ended up going with this. This is patterned paper from, I had to look at pull it aside. Pink Paisley. It's called Summer Lights, and it's a couple years old for sure. 2017, to give you an idea of how long I've had that in my stash, but I thought it would work really well with this sunset photo. You saw I used the Dear Lizzie and American Craft purple foam thickers. I thought that looked really good, and I just have day 2 spelled out there. So added a couple little chipboard stars here just to add some interest to the page. So love how that came out. Added a chipboard here. This is from the January 2018 Stories by the Month kit. And I just loved that it was the perfect color. And I just needed one more little bit of maroon to help have a set of 3 to pull your eye through the page. So nice and simple there. Loved being able to use those 2 pieces. That is from the, I want to say the 2021 travel collection, and the patch is probably from one of the Day in the Life kits or Week in the Life kits that I've saved and never got a chance to use, so got that in there. Used the Life Crafted insert there to help put the pamphlet in. The Take Me to the Trees was from the outdoor collection, and then that was from the 2020 travel collection, I believe, and I thought that was a nice little thing to put with it so it wasn't just floating there by itself. Kind of helps ground it. Left that one by itself. You saw where I created this using the transparency. You can't really see the transparency against the photos, but it was nice just to have something there in case, you know, you take a look at it. Added the patch there. One more full-length shot there, and then my journaling, and you may have not seen that I added a little bit more of this vellum on the bottom and another one of the vellum tags. So really happy with how this is coming along, and excited to get to the next part of this day. Thanks so much for watching, and can't wait to share more soon. Bye for now.